Time to stop contributing to 401ks, right? Not so fast. Hi, this is financial planner Sean Mullaney. Let's discuss. So something I'm seeing more and more in the personal finance space is don't contribute to traditional 401ks. You're going to get killed by taxes in retirement. Right now is the time to contribute to only Roth 401ks. Well, just how sound is that? And one critique I have is folks will say, it's Roth 401k, you got to do the Roth 401k, but they never seem to have a mathematical proof or evidence for that proposition. They just say, no, just do Roth 401k. Traditional 401ks are going to get crushed in retirement. All right, well, let's do some math to figure out who's right here. Should we be biased towards traditional 401ks or Roth 401ks? And so in this column B here, I start by analyzing a 75-year-old couple who has, they're both 75, they've got $160,000 worth of RMDs from 401k, or let's call it an IRA, 401k, whatever it is, all taxable, right? Online, the people are going to tell you, LinkedIn, TikTok, whatever it is, YouTube, they're going to tell you, oh yeah, this couple's going to get destroyed by RMDs. They're going to be crushed by Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam's going to take their house. Maybe they don't go that far, but they go pretty far. So I said, under current law, what is the tax result when we have $160,000 worth of RMDs and we throw in a little more income, a little interest, dividend income, $40,000 in Social Security, a somewhat realistic profile of a very affluent couple. We'll talk about how affluent they are. To have $160,000 of RMDs, you got to have almost $4 million. You have this number here, 3.936 million in traditional retirement accounts to have $160,000 RMD. By the way, congratulations. Now, I would say, wow, you're doing really well. You're very wealthy. The people online say, oh no, the IRS owns 30% of that 401k, 40% of that 401k. Let's test to see if that's really true. All right, well, if the IRS owns 30 or 40% of that, well, they're probably going to take something like 30 or 40% of the RMD this year, right? Well, not so quick. Let's go through what, under current law, the taxation is. This affluent couple with a $4 million retirement account pays a whopping $27,000 and change in federal income tax. Not nothing, but interestingly enough, that's an effective rate on adjusted gross income of a little under 14%. Let's just call it 14%. And if they were able to build up a $4 million nest egg in deferred accounts, they took deductions into a 401k, not at 12%, right? 12% people, they're nice people, we love them, but they don't get to build up a $4 million 401k in almost all circumstances, right? These are people who would have been taking deductions at 24%, maybe 32%, maybe 35%. So Uncle Sam got, they got a deduction against Uncle Sam for 35%, 32%, 24% while they were working. And then Uncle Sam on the back end gets 14%. How are they crushed by the RMD? How does Uncle Sam own 30% of this account, right? It seems like they're winning against Uncle Sam. And I'm just going to show you just how bad a partner Uncle Sam is in terms of collecting. You'd think, hey, Uncle Sam owns all this, has this general partnership interest in a 401k. This year, and I get it's only 1 year, but this year they collected about 0.7%. They collected less than 1% of the 401k. If I ever have any business partners, I hope you're as bad as at collecting as the IRS is. They didn't get 1%, right? The IRS, which is supposed to just destroy traditional retirement accounts in retirement, against this affluent couple, got less than 1% this year. Not so great. But Sean, tax hikes. There's going to be all these tax hikes. That's what you're not factoring in. Well, okay. Let's add some tax hikes to the equation. On my blog, I go in detail on how I do that, but I've got 4 separate tax hikes I impose on this couple. One, I say the TCJA, the higher standard deduction, goes away. We go back to the lower personal exemption and personal exemption, lower standard deduction. I say we get rid of the 12% bracket. We up that rate to 15%. I say capital gains, that goes from 15 to 25. And I say 22% bracket, we're going to 50% increase it to 33%. By the way, the Congress that does that overnight, yeah, enjoy your retirement, right? The electorate is going to retire you pretty quickly if you just increase taxes from 22% to 33% overnight. But I did it to stress test, to say, hey, everybody's worried about all these tax increases. Let's do a 50% overnight increase. Surely that's going to crush this couple, right? They're going to be paying so much tax, it's going to be unbelievable. Well, all right, that increases their taxable income by almost $3,000. That's not good. And we have a higher tax rate. Oh, that couple in that tax Armageddon world, their effective tax rate is still, even if all these horrible tax increases occur, their effective rate is still less than 20%. And that 38,000, really 39,000, is still less than 1% of the account value, right? So even with all these horrible tax increases that these commentators always predict but never happen, right? Eventually they're going to predict it right? Because that's every year they say, oh, taxes are going through the roof, and it never happens. But forget that for a second. Even if it does happen, this couple deducted at 24%, 32%, 35%. They're only getting whacked at an effective rate of 20%, right? On the last few dollars, it didn't make sense, but still, no Armageddon. They're still doing fine, and that assumes that all these tax hikes go through. Well, okay, Sean, what about a more realistic person, right? And what about those married tax brackets? Aren't you really saving them through the married tax brackets? If they were single, somebody dies or something like that, they're going to get crushed by RMDs. So I have 3 examples on my blog and on this blog post here where we go through, hey, what happens with taxation if we're single? And I've got 2 examples when we're 75 years old, 1 example when we're 80. And under today's laws, at a $250,000 balance and $1 million balance in our traditional retirement accounts, the highest effective tax rate I get is 11%, 10.86%. This is an example of an 80-year-old, 80 years old. They've got $1 million in a traditional IRA. By the way, they're doing way better than most 80-year-olds. But let's say they get to 80 years old, $1 million of a traditional retirement account, meaning they got to take a bunch of RMDs. Now, I say a bunch, it's less than 5%. It's $49,505, not the end of the world, but still something. Even that person who's got the single tax bracket, so it's not like, oh, well, we're married, we get to go up the brackets. Nope. Even that person winds up at an effective tax rate of just 11% federally, right? It's just not true that for most Americans, the government owns 30% of your 401k. It's just not true that under today's laws, you will get crushed by RMDs. If you're paying an 11% federal effective tax rate in retirement, why are you going to contribute to a Roth 401k to avoid that, when you could contribute to a traditional 401k and take a 22% deduction for many Americans, 24% deduction, 32% deduction, right? I'm not here to say the Roth 401k is always the wrong answer, far from it, but I am here to say that we should not be scaring folks about traditional 401k contributions. They're perfectly fine, right? And for most Americans, they're going to be the optimal answer. And even for those Americans where, yeah, that wasn't really optimal, it's not going to be that suboptimal, okay? Traditional 401k contributions are great. I like them combined with Roth contributions at home and a Roth IRA if we can do that. I think that's fantastic. But let's stop, with this tax boogeyman of RMDs are going to kill you in retirement. And congratulations, the IRS owns 30% of your 401k. It's just not accurate. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please mash that like button and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you next time.